little late. But I do want to move on to our final topic of the evening, and I guess we'll have to come back to microtransactions another day. And that final topic is Sam's topic. Sam, what is your topic tonight?
Microtransactions!
No, it's not.
No, I'm just kidding. So it's episodic gaming. And to be very clear, like, what really, like, made this kind of pop out in my head was an article that Citizen in the chat sent me, which was basically talking about how, like, Square Enix that kind of just announced that Hitman would be released very episodically with, like, you would pay this much for, like, a base game, and then you would pay more for expansions, sort of, over a long course of time, that, like, it was actually part of their business model. Why a lot of the games in their development cycle were like this. Most notably of which was announced a while ago, Final Fantasy VII. And so the gist of it was basically saying, like, look, developers, like, just saw this decline in console gaming, like, people just weren't buying stuff near the end of the last cycle, and they were just afraid console was going away, and it was all going to shift to these small microtransaction-based games where, you know, you bought a character for $2 or something like that. And so they started to try to, like, build their development cycle around it. Mm-hmm. And now, like, and I think that the argument there was, like, well, at the end of any console generation, especially one for as long as the last one was, like, people were just waiting for the new thing. But now they're saying, like, oh, well, with the success last year of stuff like The Witcher, Fallout, you know, all these other kind of games that were, like, AAA titles that sold very well, companies are less worried about it. But again, it's too late in their development cycle to say, oh, okay, instead of going from this episodic stuff, we'll go to full-blown $60 games where we actually give you all your content. So, I don't know. That's the most interesting spin I've heard on why things get released. What should be a AAA title gets released in an episodic format. And I kind of just want to see what you guys thought about that mentality. Is it? I mean, do you think it's just a crock of bullshit? Or do you think, like, maybe now that we've kind of proven out that PS4 actually is a great console that people buy, that we'll start seeing less of that from developers?
I mean, I don't think we're ever going to start seeing less of this from developers, just for the sheer fact that developers have proven that this sells games. I mean,
but, like, at large scale though, like, besides Destiny, like, at large, I mean, because the other point would be, like, Telltale games or Life is Strange, right?
Right.
Which are, one, crafted like that in a storytelling context.
Yeah.
Was Life is Strange even like that commercially successful?
No, I don't think it was commercially
successful.
It was critically successful.
Critically successful. But I mean, like, I would argue that,
and they're releasing, like,
I don't know how much the Telltale games would have been hugely, widely successful in that context. Like, I think people who played them really enjoyed them.
Yeah, I think Telltale does it better or they have it better because they get the licenses. Like, they have Marvel.
Yeah.
They have Batman coming out. They had Borderlands.
They have Marvel? Did you just say they have Marvel?
They announced Marvel, like, a while ago.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure.
No.
I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure.
You're just thinking about Batman.
I think it was before that.
No, but that's the thing.
Marvel and Telltale games teaming up for 2017.
Woo-hoo!
I'm just crashing Ben's entire worldview.
No, I mean that's awesome.
But,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, but
then I remember thinking, oh, there's 2 superhero things now for Telltale. It's weird.
So to me, like, that is a format that makes total sense to me. And oh, by the way, those games don't total up to $60.
No, they do not.
Like an entire season.
The season passes even? Tales from the Borderlands?
No, Tales from the Borderlands season pass was $20.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then Telltale does a really good job, probably the best of any developer I've seen, where they constantly put their stuff on sale. They made the first episode of all of their recent ones, excluding Wolf Among Us, completely free. You can download Game of Thrones, the first episode, free, play it like a demo.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can get Tales from the Borderlands, first episode, free.
And I mean,
That's a legit
It's-
demo,
They're
basically.
constantly going on sale for not like 10%, 20%, like 50, 60,
50%,
70%.
And of course, like the first episode of every Telltale game ends in this spectacular cliffhanger. Like the
I've seen
storytelling
the
that Telltale
That
does
one's amazing.
is fantastic.
Just in
Absolutely.
Borderlands less so, just because the entire thing is kind of wacky and awesome.
Tales from the Borderlands was easily one of my favorites, and you know, one of the people watching commented via Twitter saying Tales from the Borderlands was his favorite episodic game as well, and I thought that was one of the most well done, even though there was no. I did not feel that there was a lot of recourse for my choices. Like
Telltale has never been awesome at that.
I mean, like that's you
Walking
want to have an
Dead
ending, though, right? Like
did
that's
really
the point.
well, but I do agree.
Yeah, I don't think it really did because you can play the entire game silent for 90% of the choices. You can be in ellipses.
I love that whole being silent thing in Telltale games. Also,
But it's
like
just awkward
people
because then you have characters just talking to you, and you just stand there as a brick wall.
But
and then the story continues.
There are a lot of things where that is a legitimate choice that you can.
It's a legitimate choice.
Make.
Yeah,
like
then you can
that's
do the entire game like it, and it affects barely anything.
like if I were to give somebody just one piece of advice for any Telltale game, it would be, don't forget you can be silent. You know, you don't have to choose something.
Being silent is a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Until Dawn did a similar thing, which I think is better. You guys all played Until Dawn?
Yeah, but that's not really an episodic game at all. So why don't we stay on track?
That's fair enough.
And kind of go back to the episodic games. I think something that to Sam's point is we've got these big AAA games. Not that Telltale isn't becoming more and more AAA, but Hitman is a great example of a game that's doing it. But we have another very big and exciting game coming out eventually, and that's Final Fantasy VII, which is also said to be episodic. Questionably episodic, I should say, I guess.
There might be translator error.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not sure yet.
This is a game that came out years ago on PlayStation 1, 19 years ago, and was one full game. And all of a sudden, they're remaking it, and it's going to be multiple games, even though it's going to be the same amount of content. And we don't know anything else about it other than it's probably going to be $60 per episode.
It's definitely.
How do we know that? Do we even know that?
No, we don't.
We don't know
That's what I
anything.
just said.
Okay. Well, you said probably.
This.
You said probably. What does probably mean?
Probably means that it's something
Square
that
Enix
is most
logic.
likely going to happen, but we cannot confirm nor deny it.
Is this like how you think the PSVR is probably going to be $200?
I still think that.
Each Final Fantasy episode will be $200 confirmed.
No, but I mean, look at other Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy. What was the most recent one with Lightning? Is that 13?
Lightning Returns.
God,
13-3, the
13,
best game of
1,
all
2,
time.
and 3. Okay, each one of
Toriyama's
those
waifu
was a $60 game.
But see, like, I'd argue that was like
that wasn't one story chopped up into 3 different.
Yeah, like a sequel. That's like the Toy Story 2 and 3. Maybe not as good as Toy Story 2 and 3 were relative to Toy Story 1. But yeah, I a little bit different. A little bit different.
It's close enough that you can make the comparison, though, because it's the same company, it's the same series.
Yeah, right. Never played a single Final Fantasy game, but I could at least make that reference.
If you think about it, because their whole design concept for the 13 series and outside of 13 that are games that weren't even released in America, like I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy Agito. Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
No. I believe it's Nova Crystallis.
Oh,
One of those was technically supposed to be an episode, or in the same kind of thing.
I thought that was all of the games, though.
No, Nova Crystallis was specifically 13,
And
and all pretty much everything that's come out until 15.
okay.
So questions that come up in the chat, being episodic, are games helping their cash flow. And I think that, to me, actually, when I really look at the grand scheme of things, I actually do buy the argument and almost even support the argument that by like giving them a little bit of influx of capital, proving out that they should continue to invest in a certain IP is okay.
Oh no, I don't like that.
It's Kickstarter-ish.
But like
it's very Kickstarter-ish.
But like it, like let me put it another way. Like think about what some of your complaints for bigger DLC content is, right? One complaint is bad timeline. Like, you don't really know what you're getting, and you don't really know what the timeline is for everything like that. If I could tell you, like, you're getting a third of this game, and then you're getting another third, and I say, okay, like, in Hitman, it's 5 missions. So your first third is 5 missions. You'll be paying $20 for it, and then you're paying another 20 for another 5 missions, and then the last one will give you 7 missions, and you're paying another $20 for it. And at any point, you can be like, cut it, I'm out. Like think about it. I'll give you a prime example. Evolve. I bought Evolve. I thought it was going to be...
Sorry for your loss.
I hate Alex O'Neill for making me buy Evolve. Because the first time he was on the show, he was like, I want to play Evolve. And I'm like, oh, I want to play too. Like, $30 into Evolve, I could have cut and run. Like, I got a certain number of maps, certain number of characters. Okay, this game sucks. No one else is playing it. I'm cutting and running at 30.
You could say that about any game, though. Like, I wish every single game had a demo so that I could see how bad it sucks, and then just give them no money.
See,
instead you are giving them money.
Well, and to Ben's point, when because I made the same argument about Division. He's like, well, demos aren't really demos anymore. They're just really like showcasing the best part of a game, so you'll buy it, which.
I said that about betas, not specifically demos, but I still hold the same feeling for demos as well. It's like it's essentially a trailer. You're gonna pick out your favorite parts of the thing and make it look as good as possible, and essentially trick people into getting it. So even that is kind of shady. But
we did mention it with the Telltale episode 1, the ending always hooks you
exactly
in the same kind of way to make you get the next one. And with Telltale specifically, they're all so story based. I think releasing them so far apart only hurts them.
Yeah, I agree.
You come back, who are you? What? I played Destiny since then. I can't remember a thing.
And they've gotten a lot better at that as games have gone on, but I do think that is a problem. It's like it kind of fizzles out. To the point that Jules in Colorado was making in the chat about studios just helping their cash flow. Like, that's the kind of thing that I don't really like the idea of. Like, I understand Sam's point, but it gets very Kickstarter-esque where it's like, okay, well, we're going to put the first part of this game out and we'll be able to put the rest of it out if it does well. So, you people that really liked it, if you really liked it and we don't make enough money, oh, sucks to be you.
But see, and again, we haven't really finished a full cycle of any. I think of truly large, AAA episodic stuff.
Have we even started them? Apart from Resident Evil Revelations 2 is the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
But we haven't really started any of the others yet either. Hitman's still on the horizon. We don't know too much about it. Final Fantasy VII. I've heard some things on a podcast.
We've heard things. There's a hype train. I mean,
there are multiple trains in Final Fantasy
that would be my question. Like, because with Final Fantasy VII, it's the perfect argument for this, which is, if Square decides halfway through that they're not going to release the second half of the game because it didn't sell well enough, like, they could actually have a boycott that actually matters.
They did release a Tomb Raider 2. A very long time after, because it did well enough, but it didn't do what their projections said. So they just waited that out until it met their projections. Then they released the next part. They'd probably do that with Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
If not, just release the whole thing just to brute force it.
Yeah.
I almost feel like every single one of our topics could have been our 1 hour show. We do have, there's so much that we could talk about with episodic games, and a lot of it is things that, especially for things like Hitman and Final Fantasy, we're going to have to wait to see how they play out. And I feel like this is a topic we could and should definitely revisit in the future.
Before and after.
Yeah.
Because if Final Fantasy VII is successful, that could just kickstart an entire new generation.
The floodgates will
Not a
open.
console. Like, that could change game development in a radical way for years to come.
I'm gonna ask our producer to like go into the show afterwards and bleep every time we say kickstart.
Yeah.
Kickstart.
Yeah, there's this Mountain Dew product I've heard about. It's called Mountain Dew Kickstart. That's great.
Kickstart your morning with some Mountain Dew Kickstart, which you can now find on Kickstarter. Yes,
Support
please
us
give
on
me money,
Kickstarter
Pepsi,
at
for that, by the way.
PayPal/Ben Riddick.
We'll give you the price to take the show away from Coke last time. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can find us all over the internet.